magic molded our civilization. For generations, the Root Sisters watched over Talan, assisted by the rituals we shared. But our ways were not without risk. Our thirst for knowledge tore the world's fabric, unleashing the cataclysm of Yeldrin. Azra, the Conqueror, raised his legions, outlawing magic and persecuting wizards. A merciless war started, spanning many years on every realm. Now, only a few of us remain. We are all that stands against Azra's tyranny, keeping the flame of hope burning for revenge. For how long will this cold sun cast its shadow upon us?
What up, comrades? Hope everyone's doing great. I'm here to talk about Absolum, which is a beat-em-up game. People keep calling it a roguelite. I'm like, I don't know about that. It's kind of like, it's very like Golden Axe-y. You can ride creatures. You got 4 characters, 2 to start off with, and then 2 you unlock just by like playing through the game. And they can pick up items and throw them. They can get health regeneration items. And they can, you have different moves, but the moves are really like you punch, punch, punch in a combo, and then you can build up mana and use like a mana super attack. And then once you play through the game, like enough time. So if you die, it's not like game over. I guess that's like the roguelike situation. If you die, you just go back to the beginning and you can unlock more stuff and you can build up your characters, which is nice. I feel like this is a very... Because, you go back in the day and you play like Streets of Rage or Final Fight or Golden Axe and you like play through it and you get to a point and then you die and it's like, oh, fuck me. Right. So this, at least when you go back, you get a little bit better. My favorite part about this game is that it lets you just be like, I'm a bitch. And it has sliders which can increase, or, it also lets you be like, I want a challenge. And you can increase and decrease the percentage of damage you do up to like 500% and down to like nothing, essentially. And then you can increase and decrease the amount of damage you take, again, from like pretty high, if you're taking a hit, you die instantaneously, down to I take no damage whatsoever. So I definitely played it. I did my first run. I did 4 runs of this. In the first run, I just played through with no modifiers. And then after that, I used like a 200% damage and then only take 25% damage. And I beat it. So the game you got to like beat once and then you got to like play it again. And then you can either get like the ending or like the quote unquote true ending, depending on if you have like, there's these items you get called like Mother's Grace. And if you die while holding one, it just resurrects you. So you have to have one of those to get like the true ending. So it's kind of got like, I guess it's only got like 2 endings. Because if you die, you just go back, right? And then when you beat it, there's the ending you get when you like beat it originally. So I guess there's like 3 endings, but there's only one like non-canon ending, if you will. There's 3 endings, right? Okay. So I'm trying to think what are there. Okay, so they call them relics. These are like abilities that they're not like things you can use as abilities, but they're like increase your. It's like making a build in a game, right? And then as you open things up, you can unlock permanent build kind of stuff. So you could play this game like I said, I played probably like 4 hours of this game, and I cheated heavily after my first like just giving it a shot because I am not interested in this game. The other thing I should mention at this point in this opening scroll is that this game is woke AF. Like, it is super fucking woke. Like, there's not like a woman that's not a monster in this game. Well, there's one. There's a mother who, like, gives birth. She's black, of course, so it's not... like, there's like trans, fat, pregnant black woman. I think that's all the women. And then there's just like various, and then like there's the monster women. Like some of the monster women are pretty sexy. If you're into like the more lowly stuff, which I am. And then there's like human women, but they're completely unattractive. And they're like guards, so they have like small boobs and they look like men. So I'm just going to go with trans. And as soon as I booted this game up, it had like a little like flag thing with like the European Union Commission or whatever, like approved or donated or something. And I was like, oh, this game's going to be woke as fuck. I didn't realize that. Now, that's, you know, most people who are sensible are going to be like, do not play this game because of the woke shit. But if you're stumble upon this, or if you really, 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 really like beat 'em ups, the beating up, the actual gameplay is good. So the woke stuff really didn't get too much in the way. It was distracting because like there's like you start off with these two characters, a dwarf who looks like a dwarf, looks like a fucking dwarf, like a dwarf guy with a beard, and then there's like this man who has started hormone therapy, so it's got like little pecs on their chest, and then it's like a dude. It sounds like a guy. But at some point, someone was like her, and I was like, oh, so her pronouns are he or she, her. But that is a guy. And then you get another guy later on who is also like a trans man. And then there's like a boat captain who is like a black trans woman. So she's in the middle of her transitioning. And then there's lots of monsters, like orc girl, who is like it's not like a sexy orc girl, right? It's like the orc girl that's like, this is just a man with like kind of breasts, sort of, and a manly voice. And then there's like fat goblin queen, the mother who's like the person who makes it possible for you to like keep resurrecting, essentially. She's pretty enough, so no problems there. But she starts off like pregnant, right? I was like, what? Like, and after your first run, a successful run, to get the first ending, she gives birth, and then she just looks like a pretty like black woman. So like, okay, fair enough. So you can make pretty women in this game. I see that. And then they have like lizard women, and they're pretty. And then there's like an undead queen, and she's just like an undead queen. She looks like a Sylvanas, right? She doesn't look like a monster. So she's, I mean, it's hard to say like, yeah, so that's all right. Let's see what else. Yeah. So aside from like, well, and it's really just like the boat captain is like, this is a trans woman. This is a guy who transitioned. Like there's no if, and, or buts about it. And then the 4 player characters, one of them's like a frog guy. He's dope. The dwarf's dope. Then there's this like femboy or like trans man who is wearing a mask. So whatever. And then the elf chick, or trans chick or trans man. I don't know which direction, right? They call it a she, her. So I'm assuming it's a trans girl. Is hideous to look at, like absolutely hideous. Like every time I see her, I'm like, like gross. But I just played the dwarf the whole time. I thought about playing. I tried the mask guy, but meh. And then I was gonna try the wizard guy, the frog. He seems pretty dope, but I didn't. Let me think. Yeah, so you play through like, so you have different like levels, and then you can take different pathways at certain points. So it's very beat 'em up-y, right? Like a Dungeons and Dragons or like X-Men. It's a beat 'em up game. The beating up stuff's pretty good. The different maneuvers, the different builds, that's all fun. Like, again, if you're into, I'm not really into beat 'em up games. I just grabbed this because I'm playing through the Atelier series, and each one of those games is pretty long. Even though the first ones are more just like management sims, and they're pretty chill. You got to break it up because there's like 4 games in a row that are like the same game, just like slightly different story and like different kind of nuances and like the things you can do, or like the village setup and whatnot. So it's like you need a break. And I like breaking up my like long-term videos anyway. So I was like, I'll beat them up. I'll just grab this one. And, I just have like my server full of games that I've like collected through Steam and GOG and Epic and all this various bullshit. And so that I've like torrented all, so I don't have to worry about any of those fucking DRMs or anything like that. So this was just like, I want to play beat 'em up, something nice and simple and straightforward. And this was like Absolum. So that is why we're here. I'm not going to keep it. I'm not that big a fan of beat 'em ups. And again, it's just like, I can't adhere to like any of this woke bullshit, but I played it and it's fine. Right. It is distracting, right? Which is the biggest sin. And it takes away and does not add. And then the story is just kind of like meh. And I don't like the like repeating thing necessarily, like the roguelike thing that people like to do. Okay. Anyway, so that's my general thoughts on the game. I'm trying to think if there's anything I'm missing. You can do jump attacks. The backgrounds are beautiful. These people are clearly talented. And like I said, the dwarf looks dope as fuck. The bad guys, some of the big monsters look super dope. The ending bad guy looks dope. The woman, the mother, she's very pretty. So, I mean, they have a lot of talent. There's a lot of secrets in the game, which is fun. You can you got to search around for them and stuff. Like it's a very solid game that is infected with wokeness, which takes it from as a beat 'em up, I would say if they were pretty women in this and not so, if there were pretty women in this and it was less rogue-y, I would give this an 8 out of 10, right? Which is pretty good. But the wokeness is minus 5 points. It's not that bad. It's -3. So now we're down to just kind of it's an average game. There's no reason to play this when there's lots of other games. You can play literally fucking Streets of Rage. I was playing this and I was like, man, GoldenEye was such a good game. I'm not thinking about how this game is so good. I'm thinking about other games that are better and that I enjoyed more. So, but it's decent, if you want something. It's super fucking hard. So if you want a challenge, definitely give this one a go. Okay, so let's get into the actual story. So the world has been taken over by some sort of evil mask guy named Azra, the Sun King. And I think he's an elf because at some point I go to the elf lands and they're completely destroyed and everyone's undead, but then there's some commentary about it. And then the he, them at the one of the main, the main character that you can play as versus the dwarf, it has the same blue skin and stuff as well. So, okay. So this guy, Azra, put a jihad on wizards, and apparently this dwarf who uses a gun is a wizard. Fair enough. And the wizards are all led by these tree ladies, and the head of the tree ladies is the mother, who's just the black pregnant lady, which I literally, when I saw that, I laughed out loud in my in my office. Oh, man. Anyway, so all the tree ladies, they're called tree sisters or something. They've all been captured, and they're being taken away back to this city that Azra rules over in a caravan. And there's only 2 wizards left. There's us and the trans man dark elf character. So dwarf it is. So we played through the tutorial, and the tutorial you can, like I said, you could choose one of the 2 of them, and you just kind of go through it. It describes the sliders, all that stuff. We plow through the enemies, we rescue the mother, and then she teleports away, and then we fight some assholes before Azra himself shows up and one-shots us. Right, so that's that's a tutorial. So the mother rescues us, brings us back to the sacred tree place, and then we kind of get there's the fire's lit here, so we can always be protected. She'll be okay. There's no way Azra can get in here for now. I mean, you never can in the game, but in my head, it's well, maybe someday if you did nothing. So we need to go stop Azra and rescue all the rest of the wizards. So in the next area, there's this big tree that we can use to level up our stats, kind of more health, more whatever, right? And so we can, as we play the game, we get these little crystals and we use them here, right? And then we meet this guy who's oh, I'm here to help something, and it's okay. And there's everything else is locked up. There's no one else around. So as we play through the game and get more runs, this place will open up. We can rescue people and they come back. We can rescue Brome, the frog wizard, and mask guy. And then we can rescue this lizard lady who's also a tree sister. And as you unlock things and people and stuff, play through, then you start earning things, and you can use those other currencies to purchase more upgrades for your abilities or stuff like that. And then eventually you can open up your treasury, and that's where you gather all the items you find in the world, because every time you run through, it's a fresh run, right? You don't die and then come back with all the items and relics and everything. You have to re-earn them, but you have them collected, and then you can purchase them permanently, and you can choose to start with them, which makes the runs a little faster and easier, right? So the game lets you that's the roguelike stuff. And then as soon as we walk out, there's this creepy looking floating dude, and he's here, take this map, and then he disappears. So I'm thank you. And then we meet a large goblin guy, he's dope, and he sells us things, and then he has a loyalty card, and the more you increase a loyalty card, the more you can get discounts, and the more you can he'll sell 4 things instead of 3 things, and there'll be better things and stuff. So that's a cute mechanic throughout the game as well. So, and as we're playing through this game, I'm just going to kind of mention stuff, because a lot of it's no one gives you a story. You see things, or characters make commentary, or they'll have conversations. And so I'm just going to kind of give it to you as I got it. And then we'll kind of I'll give you kind of the overview that I understand from playing the game. And I did not do all the secrets and all the side quests and all the stuff, because again, I'm not that biggest fan of this game. I just wanted, it's okay, I'm playing this, I'm not going to find something else. It's way too woke for me. Normally if I knew it was this woke, I would just be adios. But I did not. Anyway. Okay, so we learned that all the trees are connected to the mother and to the tree sisters. Then that's why they're the tree sisters. And then we learned that there's several tribes, and they call them funny things. The forest tribes, just goblins, and then the earth tribe is like not the dwarves. I think it's like the humans, or the stone tribe is the humans or something. And the Azra's like conquered all the tribes because there was like some sort of cataclysm that occurred that separated all of them. They used to all work harmoniously, and then there's a cataclysm, and then Azra took over, and then he keeps them separated, and then he taxes them and stuff. And then we fight, and we find some goblins and humans fighting. They both hate us, so we fight. Oh, another mechanism in this game is that, okay, so you can play it 2-player. You might be able to play, I think it's only 2-player max. And I think you can play it hot seat. I didn't try that because I don't care, but you can also play online. So that's cool. And then you can also hire mercenaries. They cost a lot. Like they cost gold, which is another currency. So there's gold, gems, you get like fireflies, and then there's like roses or something. And they cost gold. You don't get a lot of gold. So it's just, do you want to hire a mercenary, which is going to die, or do you want to like spend it on items, or do you want to do, there's lots of different things you can do. Okay. So this is like my first run. So I go through the forest, I go through the city, I fight the humans, fight the human people, and then once I get through there, and Azra has like his own minions that pop up here and there, and he has like these like crystal machines and whatnot. So after I beat the head of the stone guard, the humans, I'm gonna like push into the mines, which is like the dwarf, and the dwarf thing has like 3 pathways. So the first choice is like kind of like, do you want to go human route or goblin route? And then there's like choices in there, and then you get to like the dwarf route, and there's like 3 routes that I found. There might be more there, and some of them are locked, so you got to play through them like again to unlock them or find new things or like talk to people. So we head to the city. Once we get through, like we kill the boss for like the humans, and then we see this cider guy who's like the trans mask person, and as soon as they see us, they get like spooked off. But like our second run, they joined our team, so whatever. So we get to the mines, we find some undead dwarves, giant mushrooms. Azra's doing something down here where it's like mutating people who become bigger and stronger, and that's like the lore justification, because most creatures are just like plain looking, and then some of them will have like a halo around them, or like an aura, like a blue or yellow or something. And that because they're like stronger versions. And so let's see. Okay, so we push ahead, get to the first like king. So kind of the goal is we got to defeat the kings. We got to defeat 2 kings, unlock these towers, and that lets us get into Azra's place, and then we can fight him and defeat him. All right. So the first king you're going to fight is always going to be the undead king, which is, or he's undead. He's like a skeleton-looking dwarf, but he's a dwarf king, right? The king of the under mountain or something. And then so I'm playing the dwarf guy, so he's like, "Sorry, I have to kill you," and the king's like, "Blah blah blah." And so we fight. This really pisses off the mothers. Oh, and then once we defeat him, and when you defeat these kings, there's like this crazy, like dark void looking thing. And so and then the mother's like gets really pissed off about it. So we got to destroy him. And when you destroy him, you just get like more loot, essentially. And then in the dwarf kingdom, we see that there's tablets. So the tablets kind of describe that some guy came and gave the Under King a ship, and so he was able to like unite the dwarven clans and take over or whatever. And then he forged an alliance with the Sea tribe, and the dwarfs of the Earth tribe, yeah. And then the powers that are connected, because all the powers were connected and everything, the dwarfs became very wealthy. But then they pulled like a Hobbit, and they like dug too deep, and then it's like question mark. We find out where they dug too deep. We find out what it was, but right now it's just like, oh, I don't know what happened. And then we take back the tower and yada. And then we find this boat, and it's being, and so we meet the pirate captain, the trans woman who's running the ferry, who's also black, and she I guess, because she's a trans woman, yeah. Anyway, refers to herself as the Bandit Queen, and so we take their ship. Talks about how there's bounties on our heads and yada yada, and there's some like side quests you can do with this guy, but whatever. Anyway, so they take us to like the land of the Lizard King, and which is an island that has gnolls and lizard people in it. And we learn that the balance of this place is off because the Mawali are gone, and the Mawali are like the frog people. And so we hear a voice of a captured person who is being held by the gnoll and a lowly lizard lady. She's like they call her slave queens, like these female lizard ladies. And she's hands down the most feminine character in the game, which is, of course, it's furry. And then let's see. And then we find out this person they've captured is the Root sister. So we rescue her. Her name is Vakana. She's another like lizard lady, but she's kind of like more plump, which is cool. She travels back to the Root Mother, and then she'll kind of upgrade her stuff. So before she leaves, she mentions that the Mawali city is full of ghosts, or is it? So we should look for Brom. So we find him in the tunnels as he saves us from a bunch of gnolls who are chasing us, and then he blasts the shit out of those bad guys. Nice. He then heads out to the Mother, so we can choose to play him in later runs if we want. We then find the slave queen that we saw earlier. We beat the shit out of her, and then we kill like another slave queen, Oh no! And then there's like another slave queen making fun of her as we kick the shit out of her, and this takes us to the arena where there's a bunch of people watching stuff. And here we fight the Lizard King, and this is where I die. Right, so I got pretty far. I feel like because I got to like the second big boss, and since I died, I was like, all right, time to cheat. Here we go. So we go back to the settler. We get the new currencies. We get some skill ups. Brum Joe's a team, so you can get revenge. Yada yada yada. There's a trans ogre lady or goblin lady or whatever shows up. And then the lizard sister lady will increase our rituals. Everything is reset, and we head for the next run. Okay. Start of our second run, we find a legionary who is one of the guys who works for Azra, and then Cider kills that person immediately. And this is like a trans man or woman. I don't know, the mask and the voice. It's like very confusing. They mention helping us out, and then they head to the root home. So now we have all 4 party members unlocked. Cool. So instead of going the human path this time, I take the forest path with the goblins. They're the people of the forest or some bullshit. So we find a human soldier who wants to kind of stop fighting with the goblins and have like a bridge rebuilt. And this is like a side quest, right? There's lots of these little side quests. And so we're like, okay, yeah, we'll go talk to him. So we follow the river, we find the goblin arena, defeat the champion there, which opens the way to the elder. The goblin elder is a fat woman, of course, and is the sister of the trans goblin that will train us in fighting back at the home front. So the queen or the elder agrees to let us fix the bridge, but they will never forgive the humans, right? So after Goblin Village, we bump into and rescue. Oh no! So now we bump into and rescue Cider again, and this time we talk about the mother, and then officially he joins our team. Now we can play him. Okay. So we then get to the door, so we take a different path this time. We learn that the door's dug too deep. Oh, this is where we learn the door's dug too deep. And there we find a ghost dwarf historian who wants to be escorted to like a secret way. So we do there. And once there, he like joins us in our home base. And then he unlocks like when we do certain things, complete certain quests, achievements. When we do certain achievements, so he'll give us like bonus stuff. And then we get knocked down a bridge. We fight through some prison. We rescue a whole bunch of guys. This time we get to Lizard King Arena because I'm cheating. We beat the shit out of him. And the lizard men are like, you're the strongest, so we respect you. So we were going to help you get through the jungle to Asteros, which is Azra's tower, right? So the tower Azra is. It's her big fucking tower. So we beat up some guys there, and then we meet the shady guy who's like, you're not on your knees. And we're like, nope. He's like, meet us at the bazaar. And so we go there, and the guy mentions that we need to cause a ruckus, and then the guards will come out, and then we can kill them and go inside the tower, and they'll take us to the top of the tower and fight Azra. So it's like, cool. And so this part's kind of annoying because you got to do this every time you play through one of these paths, and it's like there's like 5 different routes you can go, I think. 4 or 5, and each one is just like a short little, you go to a room, kill some dudes, break a thing, and then after you do it twice, you go back and you fight a bunch of dudes. So we cause a ruckus, and then that lets us get into the tower, and then in the tower we have to like kill. We get like a whole long chamber room where we have to destroy like 3 gates, and guys will just keep coming until we destroy the gate. So the main goal is to like destroy the gate. So you're playing with 2 players. There is some Ninja Turtle games like this where it's like you had one player like doing something, the other player was like holding everybody else off. So it's cool. It's very dramatic. And then once you destroy all the gates, like a big wizard guy from Azra comes down and opens up the elevator. We have to kill him and his minions put electricity on the ground. It's all pretty dope, right? Like I said, like if you're into beat 'em ups, the game's actually pretty good and fun. And then it's all very dramatic. And the dwarf and then he goes up the elevator. He thinks about how it's been 18 years since like the cataclysm or since Azra took over or whatever, but today's going to end. Then we get to Azra and he is like, yes, child of Uchue or whatever the tree lady, the pregnant one is. He's like, it begins and ends with her. And then he philosophizes about order and chaos and how the Sea Sisters are liars and something about the gate or something. And the dwarf man sasses him back. And then Azra like gets really upset and mentions that his rule is necessary, and we get this fucking epic fight. Like it was pretty dope. Like even cheating, it was pretty impressive. This dude is like quick, he hits hard, and like halfway through he just like punches us through like several walls, and it was like, this is dope. Like a whole nother arena, right? And I almost forgot how woke this game was, like playing this. Like, oh, all right, that's not bad. Anyway, and then he starts using rituals too, like the ones we use, so that's fun. And then when he does, and we find out he's like the master of time. And so right as we're about to kill him, he like freezes everything and like heals half his life or whatever. And he gets back up. And this actually is fun because it unlocks us to be able to get these like time-based rituals as well. Because we start off with just like earth, fire, water, and lightning. And then we can unlock, with this here, we can unlock time. And then you can unlock like undead later. And there was like another one I never unlocked. So it's like more secrety. And I'm like, damn, this dude's got better cheats than me. Doesn't matter. I still beat him. And then we defeat him, and then the pregnant woman shows up, and she's like, I am now free from my chains. And Ezra says something about what she has done, and then a new ritual shows up, and we bond with it. And then the light returns to the lands. We get a whole bunch of like stills of like the world healing, of light coming, people rebuilding their homes. We see Brome and the pirate guy and the mother. And then we see the mother giving birth and we see the 4 main characters like doing shit. And then the credits roll. And then afterwards, we see like this big orb thing that was sitting behind Azra in like the final fight. It starts to crack open. And it's like, start over. And it's like, all right, cool. So we wake up and the world is all red. And the dwarf is like, uh-oh, something ain't right. So we find the frog guy and the 2 trans men looking out at the world. Brome talks about unfettered magic. And then the creepy guy who gave us the map all the way in the back, he shows up. And he's like, and he says that what we're looking at is Absolum, the name of the game, who is like the orb, which is in the orb that Azra was like holding on to, and that Azra fed it for years, and then we freed it. So Absolum is now going to feed on the earth, or what's it called? Talma, I think is the name of the earth here, or the world, I think. And the creep knows all this because he's a manifestation of Absolum, but he desires to be free of Absolum as well. So he's our friend, and friendship is magic, so he's going to help us defeat Absolum. And he tells us, and that's all he does. He doesn't like help us. But he does tell us we can defeat Absolum and send it back to, God, what the fuck did I write here? Mother Thesnair or something, some gobbledygook like that, some other place, once we gain control. And then the no longer pregnant woman sort of apologizes for training Azra and such, and then we're off. So now we're on run 3. Okay, so what's different? So the bridge is fixed, that we got fixed because we talked to the Goblin Elder or whatever, right? And then we get to, so it's just like more different places you can go, and probably opens up other side quests or lets you complete a side quest, I don't know. And then we find like a furnace in the dwarf place that we can light up by like sacrificing our life a bunch of times. And since I'm cheating to be immortal, it's just like, oh, you have to feed it. And I tried picking dudes up and throwing them in there, and I got like 1 or 2 in there before they all died. And so I was like, I'm just going to jump in there and see what happens. And that was good enough. And then when we get to the pirate guy, or gal, or whatever they identify as, they take us to an undead island this time, which is the Silver Queen. And this is like the elves, but the cataclysm that kind of like separated everything started here, we find out. So we run into some guardians. They talk about, and there's a lot of talk about pilgrims and singers and about the Root Sisters betrayed the people here. And then we see this big area, which is like the cataclysm is here. And then the mother's like, this is where it all began. I was here when it began. And like, she played some sort of role. And it seems like they killed all the elves and turned them into undead, except for like the they that we can play as, and like the Silver Queen, and then Azra. I think he's also an elf as well. And let's see, pregnant lady brings up there. Let's started, and then and so inside the palace we find the Silver Queen. This is a dope battle too. And we find out that she's turning the spirits of people who are coming, like the singers, or there's like a bunch of spirits moving towards her, and she's taking those spirits and turning them into like the bad guys that we fight. So it's like, oh, she's feeding the army of Azra. So like they're like teaming up, or like the Lizard King and the Dwarf King are kind of more just like paying tithes. It seems she's like more, she's like, this is what I want to do. And again, this battle's pretty dope too. We chase her through a palace, we defeat her and fight her, and then she'll like break away and summon a bunch of dudes and make blocking, and we have to like work through this thing. It's pretty intense, right? And then every time we get to like her, we have to kill some undead like totems to unlock the shield, otherwise you can't damage her. So it's pretty fun. Back to Azra, he talks some more. So we do all that bullshit again. He talks more about wanting to be one with Absolum. Then we beat him. Some destroys us. Okay, then we beat him up. And then, let's see. And then we get killed by Absolum when it breaks out. But then we get healed immediately, and then we fight. And this fight's pretty intense. It's like we have to kill this thing like 3 times. And once we kill it 3 times, it like cracks open. And there's like a chameleon thing inside. And because I cheated, I never got like the non-true ending. Because again, the true ending is just like you have to survive by having one of these like resurrection things. So of course I did, because I'm cheating. And so you beat it the first time. I think you beat it the second time, and then you like die. But if you are cheating, it'll like kill you, but then you are resurrected. Or not if you're cheating, if you just have one of these things. And then so we defeat it the 3rd time. And at that point, it cracks open. There's like a chameleon-looking thing. The mother's like, go back to the sun or something. And then like the void opens up, and this crazy giant hand grabs it and like takes it up into the sky. And then we see like these crazy like Cthulhu demon monster-looking things looking down at us, and they disappear in the sky too. And it was like fun. And that's Absolum. Like I said, it was all right. The story is, I'm sure there's a lot more like kind of bullshit about it, but kind of the big idea, what I gathered, and if you really want to know, you can look this up. I'm sure you can find it on a Wikipedia page or some Reddit post or something. But the gist is, okay, so all the groups live together in peace and harmony, and then the tree mother was trying to do something. I never figured out because I didn't play enough runs because I got tired of the game. But it caused some kind of magic conflux to blow up and kill like a bunch of the elves and like separate the tribes and whatnot. And then it probably summoned this like the Absolum thing. And so Azra left being like the apprentice of the mother and probably like the head wizard guy. And then he went and started his empire, separated everybody, taxed them, and was like feeding this Absolum because the only way to like ensure there was no more destruction of like his people or just any of these people was to become one with the Absolum and then kind of rule the world with like an iron fist. And that way he could protect everybody at the same time kind of situation, right? Is what I'm feeling. So when we defeated him and defeated Absolum, we like repented for the sins of like the tree mother and like her arrogance or something. Anyway, that's what I'm going with. And everything else is just kind of like other bullshitty stuff that's going on. So yeah, so that's Absolum. Not a big fan. I'm not a big beat 'em up person, but when I used to love like Ninja Turtles, Streets of Rage, Golden Axe, Final Fight, all that shit. Multiplayer is just good stuff. But this, again, it's kind of like too roguey for me. And then like the woke stuff is like haram. It's completely unacceptable. So it's a hard pass on this one, folks. But if you love beat 'em ups and the woke thing doesn't bother you, then like you probably would like this game pretty well. So go ahead, like, share, subscribe, comment, and I'll catch you guys later.